Radha Radhe. Today is Saturday, 7th June 2025, and here we are to present to you this recap video for today's Bhagavad Gita study session. Along with me, here is Mummy.
Radhe Radhe.
I'll bring up the slides and we'll take a look at what we covered today. We got through chapter 11, verses 10, 11, 12, and 13. As always, if you look at the description for the video, you can get the link to the free community portal where you can access all these slides and other reference material, especially including the recap quiz slides, which were for content from 2 weeks ago, covering chapter 11, verses 6, 7, 8, and 9. So after the recap quiz, we started off with chapter 11, verse 10, and chapter 11, verse 11, they go hand in hand. So we'll cover those two and then move ahead.
अनेक वक्त्र नयनम अनेक अद्भुत दर्शनम अनेक दिव्याभरणम दिव्यानेकोद्यतायुधम दिव्यमाल्याम्बरधरम दिव्यगन्धानुलेपनम सर्वाश्चर्यमयं देवम् अनन्तं विश्वतोमुखम्.
So chapter 11, verse 10 has the catchphrase multi-faced, straightforward. And chapter 11, verse 11, with alliteration, has the catchphrase garden of garlands. We see these two verses appear together in Swamiji's commentary here, chapter 11, verses 10 and 11, really describing from Sanjay's words now, the first set of views, you can say, that Arjun is getting to see of Sri Krishna's divine cosmic form. Unlimited faces and eyes, many celestial ornaments, many divine weapons. Different senses are evoked as well, different emotions come to mind also. So many garlands on Sri Krishna's body, anointed, rubbed, or smeared with many sweet smelling heavenly fragrances. Again, that wonderful and infinite Lord, face in every direction, facing everywhere. So multi-faced in that sense, but also multi-faced in terms of all of his attributes. Just overwhelming in some sense. We can only comprehend a finite amount of that, but he is all pervading, he is everywhere. So, as Swamiji says, Sanjay here is elaborating upon that divine universal form. We did see in class, Anek is many, Anant is unlimited, and this entire creation, this body of God's cosmic form, all these different faces, eyes, mouths, colors, shapes, and forms that we had seen before. We usually think of everything from a material perspective. It's all contained in this core or kernel of space and form and time. God, of course, divine, transcendental. He transcends and surpasses space, form, and time as well. But again, bit by bit, verse by verse, all this is being unfolded. And at a minimum, as Swamiji concludes this verse, his commentary, he says, we can call it wondrous. Imagine Arjun, of course, being in total amazement, shock, surprise, astoundment, of course, awe and reverence as he's getting to see that divine cosmic form. We'll next see chapter 11, verse 12.
दिवि सूर्यसहस्रस्य भवेद् युगपद उत्थिता यदि भासदृशी सा स्यात् भासस्तस्य महात्मनः.
So, chapter 11, verse 12 has the catchphrase eclipsed suns. We do know about eclipses, they happen once in a while. We'll see the flyer momentarily that we had seen in class. But here, Sanjay continues and says, using, as Swamiji describes and reminds us, a simile, that even if 1,000 suns were to blaze forth together in that sky, they wouldn't match the splendor of Sri Krishna's great divine cosmic form. As we described in class, one sun is what we see. We see, hopefully, presumably, often enough, hopefully every day. And in certain places, certain times of the years, it is so bright, so shining, so hot enough that we can't even step out for a walk sometimes till the sun has set or much later. That intensity, that brightness, that heat, that level. And now imagine times 1,000, and that's still nowhere close to Sri Krishna's splendor. Too much to absorb at some stage, overwhelming, as we've said before as well. But that is again giving us the extent of how much infinite expanse and all pervading nature and power. And as Mummy mentioned in class, potency Sri Krishna has that we can only appreciate perhaps part of at this stage. So this simile is very, very helpful. It gets us to understand the effulgence, the radiance and brightness of that divine or cosmic universal form. And there are no parallels to it, as Swamiji says. As a reminder, as we had seen the flyer trying to depict that, again, it's only with finite artwork and imagination. We have four suns here. They are rather bright, even in the picture. The eyes get drawn there, but then you focus in on the question and the conclusion. How did 1,000 suns blazing forth together get eclipsed by one moon? So remember, as we explained back in chapter 10, Sri Krishna had said, of all the night stars in the sky, I am the moon. We know there is an eclipse every now and then that happens. That's the moon right there. But covered to show you, of course, the icon here, Radha Krishna temple, Radha Rani, Sri Krishna, the Supreme Lord. They're here. They're normally on the top left, right, in terms of the artwork. But this is them as that moon. This is Sri Krishna, that divine cosmic form representation, eclipsing, in this case, four represented, but even 1,000 unlimited suns. They cannot match up to the splendor of Sri Krishna and his divine cosmic form. With that, let us take a look at chapter 11, verse 13.
तत्रैकस्थं जगत्कृत्स्नं प्रविभक्तम् अनेकधा अपश्यद् देवदेवस्य शरीरे पाण्डवस्तदा.
Chapter 11, verse 13 has a question for the catchphrase, tiny totality. Again, as we see in Sri, Sanjay's words, we have Arjun continuing with that view and that vision. And here it's a tiny summary, in fact, the totality of the entire universe is what Arjun could see. And it was all in the body of the Supreme Lord. So everything focused in one place, centralized. So that's the totality. But is it tiny? We know the answer, of course, but it's something for everyone to ponder over. So again, Swamiji here says we're looking, vicariously through Arjun. He's getting to see all those wondrous spectacles. They're the manifold divisions of the galaxies and the planetary systems, but all that is a mere fraction of the body of the Supreme Lord. We had reminded you in class about the last verse of chapter 10, where Sri Krishna, after describing all of his different, forms, beings, personalities, entities, and objects that he is as the examples of his opulences, he says to Arjun, but of what use is all this? How much does it matter? Just know that all this is a fraction of his being. And so, again, that's a reminder to us of the infinite expanse that Sri Krishna, of course, is and has and takes on. There's this lovely story. Mommy may talk more about it as she did in class about Sri Krishna as a child and Mother Yashoda. So there's another contrast there about the cosmic form. But again, all that is centralized in the body of the God of Gods, as Swamiji translates here, the body of the Supreme Lord. It's a totality. But again, is it a tiny totality? We'll learn more, of course, as the verses unfold. Mummy, over to you to enlighten us on Sanskrit words and phrases and other important takeaways.
Thank you, Gagan. And I will say in verse number 10, let's look at the very important word that is called anek. It is though very simple. Many of those us who know Hindi, anek means many. But let's see, in this verse, anek word has been used 3 times. Anek vaktra, Anek Adbhut, Anek Divyabharanam. So three times Anek word has been used. So what does this mean? This means basically unlimited, infinite. That was the kind of feeling that Arjun got when he saw Sri Krishna's cosmic form, that it had many, 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 many unlimited faces, mouths, eyes, faces, that is what Arjun was seeing in those manifestations. And these manifestations were distributed throughout the universe. That is another thing. But by grace of Supreme Lord, Arjun could see them while sitting in one place. That was the kind of um, wondrous um, appearance that Arjun could see with that divine vision. But why? How could he see? Because of the inconceivable potency of Sri Krishna that he had now granted to Arjun with his divine vision. So it was just wondrous. Then there is another word, of course, Anant is also there, which has been used in verse 11. In verse 11, we will take the word anulepam. Anulepanam. Anulepanam means anointed with. So now, on one hand, there were so many faces, eyes, and all. There was another very pleasant, uh, what pleasant uh, sight that Sri Krishna showed to Arjun. That is where he is wearing beautiful, uh, colorful clothes, and he has amazing ornaments, and he is anulepanam, anointed with divine perfumes, heavenly sweet smelling fragrances. That is the uh, whole vision that Arjun is getting. So, on one hand, it is a pleasant vision, also. On the other hand, there are loads of weapons also in his hands. That is what is showing the aspect of his personality, that he has the potential to use destructive force also if necessary. Then, verse number 12, let's see the word Divi. Divi means in the sky. Why? Because there were, the vision was of that where it was comparable to thousands of suns. The radiance, the effulgence that Arjun could see and feel, that was equivalent to more than thousands of suns together. That was the real eternal essence that Sri Krishna enabled Arjun to see the infinite light and radiance in its pristine form. So remember that even this brilliance of infinite suns is still a brilliance of material world. But God's brilliance is divine, and it is superior than any material brilliance. Verse number 13, we'll see the word pravibhaktam. Pravibhaktam means it is divided. Now, what happens in our day to day life? We see things in small pieces, right? It's not easy to put everything together. Here, what the vision, when it became clearer for Arjun, what he saw was that whole unified picture. There were many, many pieces, different pieces to that cosmic form, but it was all unified over the whole universe. So, mm, the thing is, Sri Krishna is trying to show Arjun his real, huge, unified cosmic form, which was transcending all the space and time. So there is a story that goes in Bhagavatam in his childhood, when Sri Krishna, as a Supreme Lord, he came as a child and he was showing his Leelas to all his devotees who were part of that whole Leela. And Mother Yashoda, one day when this baby Krishna was eating mitti, she said, "Don't eat," she and me, "don't eat this mitti." And he said, "No, no, I haven't eaten." Baby Krishna is saying, "No, mom, I have not eaten." And Mother Yashoda got angry and then she scolded him. And then that time baby Krishna, because he was the Supreme Lord, he thought, let me show my mother the reality also. And mother said, open your mouth, I want to see you have eaten mitti. Okay, mom. So when he opened his mouth, oh my God, Mother Yashoda was almost fainting. What she saw the whole universe in his mouth. So she was totally overcome by that spectacle. And then baby Krishna had to, touch his mom and bring her back to normalcy. So this is the same cosmic form Krishna had showed his mother, and now the same cosmic form he is showing his friend, his devotee Arjun. And imagine it is happening right in the battlefield on the chariot, where both of them are standing almost very close to each other. Now imagine Arjun's situation when he sees his friend, he transforms into this colossal being, where he has such a huge cosmic form which is covering the whole universe. And nobody is understanding in the battlefield what is going on between these two, Arjun and Sri Krishna. So basically, it is Arjun is totally in awe, in reverence, in fear. On one hand, he's seeing a very pleasant form of Sri Krishna, and on the other hand, he's seeing so many weapons in his hand. So, this is a wondrous, wondrous spectacle that Arjun is. Um, what do you say? Arjun is witnessing by the divine vision that Sri Krishna has graced upon him. Over to you, Gagan.
Thank you very much, Mummy. Yep, all of us are getting that chance to vicariously get some of that perspective, some of that view, that imagination and thoughts. I'll get towards concluding by just reminding us of some of the important English words we had also come across, mostly familiar to people, but again, just very specific contexts here. As we saw anointed, we saw it in Sanskrit as well, anulepanam, anointed, a very specific Christian as well as religious, spiritual significance, and meaning rubbing or smeared with fragrances, oils, etc. Effulgence, again, we all are familiar with that, but really referring to true brightness, true radiance, this luster of that universal form. And then manifold, we saw many varied divisions, parts, pieces, or perspectives to something. And then here we saw in class also scold, for instance, but different variants of it. Chastise, admonish, or admonition, the noun, rebuking, correcting someone's behavior, giving a warning or alerting them. So some, good uses of synonyms for scold in this context of Mother Yashoda and baby Krishna or the child Krishna. And finally, as Mommy said, fainting or faint fitting, as often it goes, swooning. Mother Yashoda was on the verge of swooning, almost fainted, almost had a fit, and that is what that vision of the cosmic form did to her.
Also, I would like to say that the scientists who have witnessed nuclear explosion, they have also used similar language to describe something that is bright beyond comparison, the radiance emitted by an infinite number of suns. So, rising at the same time. We have sent a link to a video in which this has been explained. the last video, the last link, and that is where Oppenheimer has quoted verse number 12 when there was this nuclear explosion done in 1945 in New Mexico. So that is the kind of uh, effulgence, radiance that the cosmic form is showing. Over to you, Gagan.
Yeah, thank you, Mommy. Some helpful links indeed in this slide in your spare time for people to look at. We shall meet next week. That's Saturday, 14th June, 2025. Same time, 8 a.m. Central Time, 6:30 p.m. India time. Till then, thank you so much. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.